your host. And here she comes now.
I think I'm on.
You are on. Are we live?
I was wondering if that would work. Yes, we're live. The beginning got a little bit cut off, but
so did when you were walking through your place, did you know I couldn't hear you when you were doing it?
I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me, so it doesn't really work that well. So
hopefully people got to see it. We'll find out how it recorded.
Yeah. Hey, hi. How are you?
I'm well, and either way, that was some of the finest green screen money can buy right there, including the cat on the floor. That's tricky. Doing animals, that's tough. Yeah.
I wanted to show people the cat's new spinning wheel, which is really cool, but I would have to hold the laptop and use a little toy and then make the cats go on this giant wheel. It's this giant wheel, like a truck wheel size, and it sits with ball bearings on this base, and the cats go in it, and it's called One Fast Cat. That's the name of the company, and I'm not paid by them, and nor did I get it free, but onefastcat.com is this company, and you can buy this thing, and the cats just run spinning in a wheel, and it's the best thing ever for apartment-dwelling cats who don't get exercise.
Yeah, it's like a hamster wheel, but for cats. A little trickier because you got to get them trained on it. It's not like a hamster wheel, just go.
Yeah, they had to be trained with a little toy. But if anyone's a Facebook friend of mine, I post videos of it, and it's amusing and interesting. And a lot of people who have indoor pets have thought it was a great idea. Well, let's talk flat Earth, since this is what that show's about.
You haven't asked.
Wait, I need to put my glasses on because I can barely see what you're wearing. It looks like you're wearing a baseball sleeve shirt.
I am. I have not had one of these shirts since high school. This is like a high school baseball or a college baseball shirt.
Yeah, I love baseball shirts. Well, you got to come closer and talk while you're showing it. Otherwise, I won't be able to read it.
I am showing it to you. Just see it right there. Can you read it? Sort of.
Oh, wait, I can't talk.
Up, down, up, down. Can you see it? I can read it for you.
Yes, we got it.
Okay, so a listener sent it to me, and it's a customized flat Earth, kind of a painted version of the flat Earth model. And the quote is, today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments and wander off through equation after equation and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. You know who said that?
Yes, we all do, because we read it on your shirt, Tesla.
Nikola Tesla, in case you didn't read it on my shirt, which I think, again, is very interesting and very appropriate for what's been happening recently, especially with Neil deGrasse Tyson, because, again, that's what they're throwing out there. Their only real defense is math. And people have said, well, are you not smarter than Stephen Hawking or Einstein or Neil deGrasse Tyson or any of those guys? I'm going, well, no, but I don't have to be, because if their foundation, if their equations are based off bad equations, then what do they have? If it's junk built on the top of junk, you still got junk. Or anything multiplied by 0 is still 0. So anyway, yeah, I thought it was very, very true, because that's what they keep going off of is math, which is why I made that little 3-minute rant, which is, it is not something, how the world is shaped, what you think the shape of the world is not what you know. It's not something you've tested in your life. It's something you've been told. And that is different compared to everything else that you've known in your world about temperature and different aspects of physics. It's something that you take with faith. And faith is a tricky thing. People have faith in lots of different things, but should you have faith in science without testing some of this stuff yourself? A little dicey, in my opinion.
So many things have happened since last we talked, and of course the BOB thing, which we were discussing before, and then Neil deGrasse Tyson going on the talk show circuit, pretty much giving the same speech and dropping the mic, providing no facts whatsoever, only just the dramatic stuff that he did.
Oh,
And,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
For those people that didn't know what happened after B.O.B.
wait a minute. There's nobody who doesn't know, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, no. Well, again, you might have caught the fact that B.O.B. made a rap song. You may have come out that Neil deGrasse Tyson's nephew, Steven, helped him with a rap song, which was a ripoff of Drake.
Yes, the beat from Drake.
There you go. And then but then Neil deGrasse Tyson went on the offensive and went on 2 shows, because I think he's out in Los Angeles, so it was easy. He just drove downtown, got on Comedy Central and a late night show, and did the same rehearsed thing where he comes out in a jacket and takes it off, and he's wearing a black T-shirt, and he's got his mic, and he starts talking really math. What I just read right there. He starts talking about perspective and mathematics, and he doesn't realize that I'm not necessarily trying to help him here, but I like a fair fight as much as anybody, which is math doesn't mean anything to most of the average person on the people on the street. It doesn't mean much to them. So you know this because we've talked about this many times where, look, I even have to say 8 inches per mile squared, and people start thinking back to their high school trigonometry or geometry or whatever class you took in math. Most people don't know it, and they can't relate to it. So arguing from a scientific standpoint with math against the general population, when we have all sorts of fun things to think about that are physical things to think about and images to think about, or lack of images to think about, that's the hook. That's what they should have gone with, and they didn't do it.
Phuket Word, Phuket, hope I'm spelling that right, Word, W-O-R-D, who's been a guest on my show and is a great YouTuber, came out with a wonderful video today. It was an answer to David Weiss, who has put out a challenge to make a flat Earth video explaining flat Earth in the least amount of seconds. And I believe one of them came out with, I think David was 11 seconds. Last I heard, maybe new ones came into being.
No. Phuket did it in 10 and David did it
9. 11 for David, 9 to Phuket, but that has nothing to do with 9/11, by the way, any conspiracy people. But Phuket's was awesome because what he did was he showed an astronaut with behind him the ISS, and behind the ISS stars, and that NASA could prove that we live on a ball, or at least pretty well close, by just showing us that, and they never have, ever, and they never will.
No, they won't. And to be fair, it's not an explanation necessarily of flat Earth, but it's a good hook.
Right. Exactly.
If you want an intriguing one-liner, 1 sentence, 10-second video to throw at people and make them think, that's a great one. So I wonder
if others will enter David Weiss' contest, and there's nothing to win in the contest, but just try to make the shortest possible video explaining flat Earth. And so right now, Phuket Word is at 9 seconds. So you try to beat it. Yeah,
I wasn't going to be able to do that. My little thing was 3.5 minutes long. And
I was glad to see that from you, because people are saying, a lot of people don't know that you do the Strange World show on TFR. Talk Frequency Radio. Is that
Truth Frequency
Radio. Oh my God, I get things confused.
That's okay.
I'm on talknetwork.com with a podcast with David Weiss. In my mind, I get them meshed. But totally different things. Chris and Cherie Geo, that's what you're on. You're on that channel.
Yeah.
Or that's the podcast network. A lot of people don't know that you do a show called Strange World there, and they think that you just did the clues and then just dropped off the face of the earth, and then you're on with me sometimes. They're not sure about
no, I do Strange World, and in fact, tomorrow's episode, because it's every Tuesday night, is episode 41, where I'm gonna read a statement by an Australian Defence Force officer, which he's going to go into the GPS system, which is great, and he still wants to remain anonymous, which is cool, but he had some really, really detailed things to say, so great. But
we've covered though that you came out with a little video that you did, a short video that you did, just to be there for the people who don't listen to Strange World, which is on your channel, but you can also listen to it live on TFR,
and point people back to the channel. And again, on Strange World, that's where I've interviewed. Tomorrow will be the 11th subject matter expert on this, where I've done Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, flight instructor, engineers, flight school, owners, everybody, says the same stuff. They're all collaborating and building off each other's testimonies, which is great. So I made a playlist on my channel called Testimony Shows. And it is people, subject matter experts, which are coming out, from either the military or the private sector, which are saying, yeah, the Earth certainly looks flat. And it's great. So yeah, check them out if you get a chance. They're great interviews and debunkers. You might want to think about coming with the experts of your own, because if you're just talking, you're just a glorified conspiracy person that's covering a whole bunch of topics. What has that got against a subject matter expert? It's nothing.
Can you turn a light on in the room you're in? It seems a little
dark.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I know the show is audio. Many people don't even watch, but I'm
How's
looking
that?
at you and you look dark.
Better?
Oh, better, I think. Yeah, slightly better. Thank you.
Are you wearing your glasses?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Don't make fun.
I'm not making fun. She's blind.
You know what? What happens in your late 40s, for many people, me anyway, your close-up vision goes. My far vision's fine.
Hey, I want to read you something real quick.
And then I want to go to Q&A because it's already piling up.
Okay, we will, I promise. But I want to read this because it's not often that I get a text that's that meaningful, but every once in a while I do. And this one was from a guy, and he said, you'll like this. It also gives me a chance to show off my new phone skills because this is my first cell phone I've ever owned. He goes,
you don't text, by the way.
I do not text. By the way, anyone do not text me. Email me, msargent23@comcast.net, or call me 303-494-6631. I'll probably let's go to voicemail, but texting I think is a lower form of communication. I was sad that it was even invented. I know it was going to be invented, but I will never ever ever send a text. I don't care if you're on fire and you text me, I will not respond. Email me instead. Anyway, I'm not kidding you.
I know you're not. I mean, you went to the hospital for your appendix and you were out and about when that. And then no one knew where you were because you didn't.
I don't text. I didn't even take my phone with me. And people are going, oh, how could you not take your phone with you? That's sacrilege.
I don't. I never do. In fact, my phone is right here. Here.
Yeah, I know. I routinely go out. I so did not want to get this phone, but it was the only way I could take my phone number with me from Colorado because I could not transfer it from a landline to another landline here in Washington. It couldn't happen. Anyway, let me read this to you real quick, right? My 14-year-old son, Giovanni, had to write a sonnet for 8th grade English. You will dig this, right? It's called Flat Like a Pancake. Pancakes are flat. They're as flat as can be. Everybody knows that, or so you might think. But my cake is special, and you will agree. It's got lots on top, but the kitchen sink. Syrup runs like rivers to an ocean with ice cream on fudge. A mountain it makes, green sprinkles like grass blades. Fill it all in like with broccoli trees too. It's the strangest of cakes. Multicolored jelly beans are like hills. This pancake is beginning to shape. Whipped cream on the edge gives B.O.B. chills. No ordinary cake, more like a crepe. You can't put a price tag for all it's worth. Neil deGrasse Tyson, it's a flat earth.
Right? Oh, that's a mic drop right there.
Yeah, it's like drop the mic. Yeah, can't wait to see how his teacher reacts. Yeah, I bet. No, because his teacher is going to be very, very confused. But thank you for saying me that. I thought that was wonderful.
8th grade, right?
Yeah, 8th grade. And we need more kids.
Oh yes,
get an army of children to push the flat Earth forward.
There's a Facebook friend of mine and many other people's in Flat Earth, and his name is Joey, and I think you pronounce his last name Roja, but you get the point. Joey R. And he just lives in Hawaii. He and his significant other just had a baby girl, gave birth to a baby girl, and he was saying, as he was posting on Facebook today, that she will be brought up with the knowledge of Flat Earth. And that's pretty neat, pretty cool.
Yeah, right. By the way, did you see the screen behind me?
Oh, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's your show. I figured,
it's nice of you to do that.
Well, if we're going to bounce back and forth, my monitor's bigger. So I figured every time we do a show, I'm going to throw one of your banners on the back. And I know that's you up in the top there.
Oh yeah, I just moved my head to see, and that's me. Okay.
Yeah, that's you. But it's small enough to it won't distract you. But that way I can see if you're actually getting angry because I'm actually saying something. So if I say a joke that's off color or whatever, I'll be like looking back going, okay.
I never really get angry.
No.
Well, a little bit. Okay, let's go to Q&A right away.
Q&A.
Jordan Rains, who started off our Q&A, our last show together, who writes, first Flat Earth Rebel Outpost, then Tiger Dan, and now the Morgul. What is happening with the Flat Earth community? Well, although 3 of those people have different reasons, I'll answer than you answer, for things that have occurred, the difference between Mark Knight and Ben Matrix Decode, that was an interpersonal relationship that went awry due to, well, everybody knows. I don't want to speak about it because it's not my business. That's one thing. The Tiger Dan issue, we all kind of know that at first it seemed as if he was attempting to make maps and make sense of our world. And then he went into insulting people and all of us flat earthers. And now we don't really know where he is. And I'm worried. I feel no matter what his reasons are for what he has done, he has a right to. We all have a right to speak our mind, but I hope he's okay. Because I would assume that his 6th video would have come out by now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's on YouTube this very moment. So I just hope he's okay. And the third is the Morgul. And the Morgul found information, I have no idea how, that he felt was valid and decided to make a video about it. Those 3 things are unrelated. Those 3 things have caused a lot of talk. What do you have to say about any of it?
Tiger Dan, I'm a little concerned about because I'm not sure. Because yeah, he's very, very late. Remember, he was supposed to do a 10-part series on how the flat Earth is wrong, even though he did 75 Bible verses on how it's right, and a 5-part series on how everything's right. He made 34 straight flat Earth videos, pro flat Earth videos, and he got to part 5, and then something happened, and he just kind of disappeared. And I'm a little concerned because I don't think anybody in the flat Earth community was in direct contact with him, either on Skype or anything. You were one of the only people to actually talk to him.
And I've messaged him a couple of times, and one time I just asked him if he was okay after he put out his first video where it seemed he was, upset. And that's when I was supportive of leave him alone, let him do his thing, let him work it out. And I made a comment about that. And then the successive videos happened, and I started wondering what was going on. But I did message him and offered my support just for him to relax and, do what you feel is best. Just it's hard. And then after that, I hadn't heard from him, but he did respond once, and he said, "I'm doing okay." So
we'll see.
But that was a while ago. I don't know where he is now. And
yeah, if anybody knows his real name, of course he's over in the UK. Otherwise, we'd call people in the States here and see if we could try to find him. But I'm a little worried because he here goes off on this big tear against flat Earth, and pro or con, I don't like to see anybody suffer or get hurt, but don't know. As far as the Matt thing goes, the Morgul thing with the Matt thing, it's a tough call again because I don't like the infighting. It took kind of a new level when he did that, but at the same time, look, punches were traded on both sides. There were bad feelings on both sides. Yeah, Matt did his show, and I've known quite a few actors in my life, and it's not something. Look, when an actor is looking for work and they're trying to make ends meet, they're going to do stuff that they're not, not real proud of. Should he have left it on his resume? Yeah, maybe, considering the whole flat Earth thing, because people are gonna, it was gonna turn up sooner or later.
In passing, he could have just said, "Hey, you guys know I'm an actor, and I did this movie where I was on a train, and I did this other movie where I played a gay guy, and this other movie," and then it would have been, when it was revealed, not a big deal. And so I think the Morgul was thinking, why didn't he just say it ahead of time? And
it was an MTV production.
And yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal. Look, MTV was cutting edge on a lot of different things. Yeah, it dealt with certain aspects of sexuality, but it was an MTV production. It's not like
in the 90s. That thing was the TV show called Undressed, I think, that he was on, was just a show that was pushing the boundaries of sexuality, and there were other
which
programs on that.
Nowadays, it wouldn't have. Nowadays, who cares? I mean, when Queer as Folk came out, everything was fair game after that. And again, it's not like he did a Vivid production, directed by Ron Jeremy. You probably don't know who either of those guys are. But
you know what? I know who Ron Jeremy is, just because he's come into the public consciousness as a sort of humorous character.
There you go. Yeah. Ron Jeremy had nothing to do with it. Yeah, so it's just unfortunate. It's not, I wish it didn't happen, but look, people throw out certain things against other people. You and I have talked about it before, and we've tried to stay above this in the entire road, which is be nice to each other. You don't have to fight over this. Yes, you get super excited, which is also one of the reasons I made that short little video. Yes, you get excited, you get angry, you get scared. And when you get the combination of those 3 emotions, you're turning everywhere you can, and sometimes you're lashing out. Try to refrain from it if you can, or or if you're gonna get angry, don't put it out on YouTube. but that's easy for me to say because it takes a lot.
Sometimes heat of the moment, and
Yeah.
things happen. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's
I like John the Morgul. I like a lot of the work he's done,
Yeah.
and so I'm not here to pass judgment on him. But I do think it was weird of Matt to, in the video that he made when he was on the phone, in that beautiful scene with look like a bandstand behind him or something in a park, where he just said, "Oh yeah, Patricia Steere, steering the flat Earth movement." I was like, "Whoa! How did I get mixed up in this? I have nothing to do with this." And my last name Steere is the given name from my family. So sorry, it just happens to go with steering something. So I'm not steering anybody.
Yeah.
I'm steering my own show. That's it. Because I've got the on and off feature. But that's all I steer, aside from my car when I drive it. So anyway, so that covers Jordan Rain's question, kind of. But it also covers a couple other questions that have come up in, I'm sure these questions have been asked in different ways. We've got Rob Morrill asking any thoughts on the Math Powerland thing. And where the heck was Jaron? When Matt went on Jaron's show afterwards, and then Bob was quite the peacemaker there and but he suggested, or they both agreed to take their videos down. I think that was handled well by Bob, but I don't know where Jaron was. I only partially listened to that. So I don't know.
Unfortunately, again, because the whole movement thing has been getting bigger and bigger, there were like 4 different shows yesterday going on, and several of them were simultaneous. And I was actually more interested in the, no offense to the flat Earth guys out there, because I try to rewind and watch it after it's been recorded, but I was watching some of the debunker stuff.
That's what I was watching, and that's why I didn't catch all of the Matt and Jaron thing. I was listening to 2 at once, actually. I was on my MacBook Pro, was watching one, the Globebusters, no, ISS. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Jaron and Bob and Math as the guest. And then I was also listening to this Jeff C., I think is his name, and some other people debunking flat Earth.
Yeah, press reset radio. And again, now they've changed gears, which I knew was going to happen, which is once you get to a stage where the mass media starts covering it, like Time Magazine and MTV and the Wall Street Journal, your regular debunker conversations about trying to disprove flat Earth, those kind of get pushed aside, because then you get to change gears and say, okay, well, it's obviously a psyop, and if it's a psyop, then anybody in the flat Earth is suspect. And they pretty much went after everybody, and I loved their disclaimer. It's like, we know there's some genuine flat Earthers out there, and I'm going, what genuine flat Earthers? You've pretty much named everybody in the flat Earth movement. So basically, if it's a flat Earther that nobody's really heard of yet because they haven't had X thousands of subscribers, then those guys are legitimate. But I guarantee once they hit a certain threshold, they'll be on them as well. Yeah, so
I like the fact that they put your channel on there. They put Jaron's channel up there. They put my channel up there.
In real time.
I was like, hey, free PR. Woo-hoo.
Free press. That is
free
awesome.
Press on an anti-flat Earth channel for flat Earth. And
talk about everything that's my channel, which is what because you've seen me paste my thing into all these videos from these people that are covering this stuff, and I say the same thing. I thank you for exposing your subscribers to this idea, and I'm real nice, and I don't put any links or any spams. But he takes it one step further. It's like, hey, walk them. Here's a how-to on how to go through Mark Sargent's channel. That's awesome.
And also, let's just show Orphan Red, and then some people in the audience are going, "Oh, she looks cool. I'm going to subscribe."
I spoke to Orphan Red about 5 minutes after that video aired, and she couldn't have been happier. I mean, she's like, right on. She's going, look, they're covering all the things on my channel. It's like, you guys, do you debunkers even know what you're doing at this point? I mean, I know you're treating this like a standard conspiracy you can just go after with your garden variety textbook. Your list of things. It doesn't work like that with this. There's a reason why it's resonating. When they say, oh, Mark had, what was it, 250,000 hits on my very first video that I created, the Flat Earth Clues introduction, they're going, oh, that's obviously fake, and those are government accounts padding those numbers. Like, no, it's all real, and it should scare you, because it's all resonating from a debunker standpoint. It should worry you. And in fact, that's not even, there's more out there. I mean, that's just my original one. I've showed you like some of the mirrors I've had where people just take the clues and put it on their channels. Those got 500,000. One's going to break 1 million here in another couple days.
And you're not bragging. It's not like you don't monetize your channel. It's
I don't monetize my channel. Anybody can take my stuff. You want to monetize it? Run with
bigger
it.
channels. So we've got Eric, we've got Math, we've got blah blah blah. Everybody,
Yeah.
and they as well. All those hits aren't fake government padded.
No.
Anybody who starts a YouTube channel today on Flat Earth, they're going to start gaining in subscribers.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean when they reach 1,000 or 2,000 that they've suddenly now become government controlled. It's like a band that is a garage band, and then when they, sign their first contract, everyone's like, "You guys sold out." Well, all the rest of the people who have garage bands are like, "We want to be sign a contract ourselves." And I don't mean that Flat Earthers have signed a contract. That's not what I'm saying. But if you get popular, that doesn't mean that you've sold out.
By the way,
in some cases, but not in this case.
We should probably mention this, and that is, if you're going to make a Flat Earth video, put Flat Earth in the title somewhere, because otherwise it's going to get missed.
Yeah, that's very true.
I've had so many people say the same thing both on air and off, and that is, wow, as soon as I put Flat Earth in the title, I get like 5 times the hits I normally would, even if I'm not even talking about Flat Earth. And because it's trending, you can look it up on YouTube. What are the things that are trending? The election, Obama, blah blah blah. Oh, and Flat Earth. And people are going, Flat Earth, and then they experiment and they put how to build an ice cream sundae, Flat Earth, and sure enough, it gets more hits.
Well, Kent Hovind knows the trick because he puts Flat Earth in the title of some of his more recent videos. And he only discusses Flat Earth at the very end for like 3 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, he's not dumb. He knows what's going on. So
Rob Morrell's question was, any thoughts on the Math Powerland Morgul thing, and where was Jaron? We've answered that. Then we've got I'm going to say this name wrong. Tom asked, did you guys see the drama with Math and Morgul on the Globebusters? I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm reading these. Let's see. We've got Stock Jockey saying, hello, Patricia and Mark. As of the beginning of this program today, if you put Flat Earth into YouTube search, you'll get the number of, oops, it just skipped up. Well, you know the number, Mark.
It was 4.2. I don't think it's gone to 4.3 right now. But yeah, that's
4.270.
Yeah.
And what else does Stock Jockey say? Hold on here.
He
says, Mark, do you think the search results will be, what do you think they're going to go to? 10 soon? When?
It all depends on the mass media exposure. Because right now you're seeing those numbers really climb up because of the BOB and the Neil deGrasse Tyson thing, because there's more people looking into it. Then they watch, how it goes. They watch the core videos, and then they get so worked up that they want to make, they get inspired to either make a pro or a con video themselves. So the numbers are coming up on their own. Yeah, it's going to go, it's going to break 5 before the end of February, definitely. But, famous last words. But once the new push from the mass media comes, again, we're still waiting for that third person. Once the new push from the mass media comes, who knows? It's basically whatever they want to take it to, because it could go to 10. It could be basically unlimited at this point. But it's way higher. The speed that it's going right now is way higher than I thought it was going to go. Remember, I called 5 for the entire year.
We did. You and I both together came up with that when we did our New Year's predictions for the entire year.
It was in the 2s. Then, and now it's almost double what it was since New Year's, and it's only February 1st. And it's crazy. And the debunkers mentioned, you probably didn't see the graph at the beginning of their show. It's also trending 100%, meaning it's trending on all sectors now, because it's in the mainstream on top of it. So everyone's it's starting to be absorbed everywhere, which is fantastic. I couldn't be happier. It's just wonderful to watch.
The Flat Earth Reality says, hey, guys and gals, have a good show. Nice little pleasant comment. Thank you. Then we've got Rob Morrell coming back and adding to the discussion pertaining to the Morgul and what he was saying about Math being in a movie where he was, kissing a guy. He says, so you have no problem with the Morgul being a raging homophobe. Ooh,
okay. You know what? I might as well address it, because I've addressed it.
I'll address it too. You want to go first?
You want me to go first?
Well, we'll just talk together. You start, and I'll just
look.
Throw it in.
I have. It's tough. I grew up with a lot of theater friends, and especially in college, great theater friends, and I love them to death. And let's face it, the more creative, I'll be as upfront as I can here. without sounding weird. And that is, the more creative you are, the more.
As long as you don't say some of my best friends are gay, because that's always.
No, I'm not going to. No, but the more creative, you could plot a graph. The more creative you are, the more open-minded you are. And the more open-minded you are, the more you're going to be open-minded to everything, including all forms of sexuality. Matt is a real creative guy. And he's a singer, he's an actor, he's a painter, he's a Renaissance man. Let's
I think he even designed that black jacket with the gold on him.
Exactly. Yeah, he's very, very creative and very, very open. And when you're 24, I think he was 24. When you're 24 and you're hungry as an actor, you're going to take roles. Even though, yes, it was an MTV production. Yes, was he kissing a guy? Yes, but it was very, very brief. But it isn't. But am I going to condemn the Morgul for his opinion on sexuality? No, because again, 90%. You're considering that 5% of the population is openly gay, and another 5% are in the closet, which still makes it still a 9-to-1 ratio. And we could prove that from that perceptions video that I released with for Jonathan from his show when he had the transgender story. And yeah, that was the ratio. It was about 8-to-1 or 9-to-1 against. And the conspiracy world is very, very hetero. So look, I disagree with Morgul's how he attacked him. Do I hate Morgul as a person because he's because he's a homophobe? No, I don't. Because there's a lot of, I grew up in a small rural island. There's a lot of homophobic behavior here.
He has his own opinion, and by still continuing to like him, that doesn't mean we condone every single thing that he does. No. I'm sure he doesn't like every single thing I do, certainly doesn't like every single thing you do. But there are two different things. There's people who biblically believe that that is wrong. There are people who believe that you are open-minded to being gay and then become gay later. There's people who believe that you're gay at birth and that's who you are. Then there's people who also are talking about a transgender issue, which it seems to me, which I know has nothing to do with gay, but a transgender thing and that whole sexuality thing that's being pushed by mainstream media. Caitlyn Jenner and all of this, not Caitlyn Jenner, the other Jenner, Bruce Jenner, what's the name? Or that is Caitlyn. I'm confused.
We're talking about
Bruce Jenner,
Bruce is Caitlyn. You're thinking of Kylie is the daughter.
I'm getting all of those people confused because I don't frankly care. But yes, there's an agenda being pushed, it seems like. But is it an agenda or is it more open-mindedness? You could look at it both ways. Yeah. I myself have nothing against anybody of any belief system. I just wish we would be kinder to each other. That's not backpedaling or not taking I have a strong stance on animals and that sort of thing. That's my passion, and being vegan. But I don't have a strong opinion on people's sexuality. Mine is just, you do you and I'll do me. Well, shouldn't have used the word do. That sounds weird.
Yeah,
you be you and I'll be me.
That's right. Somebody will probably
live and let live.
Yeah. Yeah, so, what I try to tell people is, when it comes to sexuality, there's some people that like it with the lights on, and some people that like it with the lights off, and everything in between. There was that one comedian who said, and this kind of it's crude, but you'll get it, and that is some people like being tickled with a feather, other people like getting hit with the whole chicken. Do you condemn someone just because you don't like that? I know it is a kettle of soup.
It's a deep subject, and even getting into this at all, no matter what I say,
we're not going to be able to. Yeah, because you can't win either way.
I love John the Morgul. I love what he does. I love his flat Earth work, and I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah. And I also wish people would be kinder to each other in general. And
yes, agreed. Look, it's a tolerance thing. And we've got to get past. It's easier.
We're all here together.
Yeah, we're all here together, and the theory and the movement that we're in, that is going to be one of the side effects of it, which is why I'm pushing it so hard. And that is, look, you're all in the same boat.
But seeking truth, and that's what Morgul was doing from his heart. He was seeking truth, and that's the truth he found, and it vibed with his beliefs and opinions. And so you have to kind of say, hey, you can't slam him for seeking that truth and then thumbs up somebody for seeking the truth about the ISS. They're unrelated, but yet, if you don't like someone's channel, then just go to a different channel.
And he did get sucked into one of the oldest traps, and that is, if you find some juicy gossip on somebody, and you've got a beef with them, you're going to use it. And and you shouldn't. You should restrain. It is tough, believe me. It is tough to do, but he should have restrained. And
Well, it's gone now.
It's gone now. It's gone now. And again,
both were taken down. They came to a gentleman's agreement, and Bob Xanadu kind of brokered that. And and Brap Allgood says that Jaron wasn't on the show because he had a power outage.
Oh, okay.
So
who was the woman I was hearing? Was that Melissa? Was that another woman? I heard a woman at the end of the show. Her mic was really loud.
No, that was Summer Sunshine, I believe that she was on.
Summer Sunshine was the end of that show?
I think so, yes. But I was listening to several shows at once.
I'll be darned.
So, yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, I think, I should have paid more attention, but there was too much going on at the same time. And
I know. I was changing channels going, who's doing what?
Plus, I was I was Skyping on my phone. I mean, it was just like, I was doing a bunch of things at once, a lot of things at once. Yeah. I don't even know what I watched. No idea. Next question on Q&A on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, episode 57, is from Digital Scent 13. Interesting name. The question is, so do you guys think that Google YouTube could be releasing Flat Earth on purpose to flex their theological muscle against some other government agency? Or B, let me scroll down, could government's AI have made the decision to release this information for some other complex purpose? Ooh.
Well, yeah. Let's go with B, which is, the numbers are out there. I mean, the numbers are increasing. There's a lot of content out there. I mean, I alone have, I don't know how many videos you have as of right now. I think I'm pushing 180 or 170 something. That's a lot since, so it's growing because the people that are still in the movement are still making more and more stuff every day, and nobody's taking down their old stuff on top of it. So, but as far as the playlists and the algorithms that are being generated by the system, I could see that generating popularity. Plus the other thing, which is kind of slick, which they do, is because I've seen it from too many people. Again, if you want to suppress this, the last thing you would do is mention it in the recommended for you. How to make the perfect apple pie and flat earth. There's no reason for flat earth to be in there for the average person. And if you want to suppress it, that's only a couple lines of code. Say never show flat earth, that term in the recommended side.
But they're not. They're allowing it.
They're allowing it. And there's a lot of people that have said that.
That's how I found you. I was looking at the, moon hoax, and then it was suggested videos. I don't remember exactly what happened, but that's kind of how I recall.
They're tying it in with a lot of things. So I think it is. We're doing it, but it's also being helped along.
And government AI, artificial intelligence, is what some people say Jade Helm was, some way to collect information and data, and then later use that information to create a mindset. So and then people say, of course, they believe there's another artificial intelligence which is above us, out in the sky.
The automated system that runs this place.
A lot of people talk about that as well.
You better believe there's some...
And some people don't believe there's an automated system. I'm just saying some people do, and then they call that AI as well, that is controlling us and putting ideas in our head of what to talk about and what not to talk about. So
the master control program from Tron.
Being what we've heard about, those targeted individuals that people have things put into their head and sounds and they go insane. Well, maybe we can be targeted just to talk about, I don't know, like I could suddenly start talking about dogs right now instead of flat earth.
Or start making something like flat earth clues. Nah, I can't see it.
Well, I mean, I wonder how we all woke up to this, is what I'm saying. What made me start looking at the moon hoax? I'm a naturally curious person, but I
will say this: the debunkers were they were scratching their head on there as well, but they were going from the side of, well, it's got to be a completely organized thing. Whereas, because the flat Earth really started up at really, the beginning of last year. Everybody, they kept going back to everybody's video history. It's like, look, he started in February, he started in March, everybody started pretty much the same time.
They were pointing at me saying she just started. She didn't have any other videos before flat Earth. Yeah. Well, many of us anyway, didn't.
No.
We were doing a video they were talking about Mr. Thrive and Survive, and he was doing videos on gold and money-oriented things, and then he started on flat Earth.
Yeah.
Those debunkers found all of that suspicious. Well, what happens is one day you're living your normal life, and the next day you find out this, and how long you have to digest that, well, that's up to you. And then some of us start channels.
Yeah.
So why that debunker people can't figure that out?
Well,
You know, all of our listening audience at one time didn't know about flat Earth, and then one day they did. That doesn't mean the government told you to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, as far as I know, unless they actually did beam something into my head, but
Right.
it's not just me. There's all sorts of people that got tied to this thing. And how does that explain Matt, who was talking about it years before it actually came out?
Exactly.
So
Teresa Gordon says, don't forget the Flat Earth poll on the Levine Life on YouTube. Thanks, Pat and Mark. I don't know what that is. Do you?
the Flat Earth poll.
L-A, new word, V-I-G-N-E. I guess that's pronounced the Levine Life on YouTube. A Flat Earth poll on the Levine Life on YouTube.
Oh, wait. No, I
know what it is. It's, Teresa and I were just talking on the phone the other day.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to get this all wrong. Somebody clear me up in Q&A. The Levine Life is a show about a family.
Yeah, it's like 300,000 subscribers, something like that.
A lot of subscribers. And I guess there's a Flat Earth poll on that YouTube channel. So it's the L-A and then capital V-I-G-N-E.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah. The poll, they were doing like a poll. Yeah. Asking people. It's like, do you believe or don't you believe? What do you think the Earth is?
We got to go vote then.
Yeah, we should probably go vote. I actually watched that show, but I didn't hit the poll, and I probably should have.
Teresa was telling me about it. I think we had like a 7-hour phone conversation a couple days ago about Flat Earth. She's a really cool person. So
wow.
Thanks, Teresa. Yeah. And the 7 hours, I was doing stuff around my house. I don't know what she was doing. And it just went by like nothing. The sun was up and then the sun was down. I'm like, wow, we've talked a long time.
Wow.
So up next here is from the YouTuber whose name I now understand, and last time we were on, I didn't get it. Arno Shilzon. ARNO SHILLSON. Arno Shilzon writes the Morgul actually put his video back up because you can't have a truce with the devil, he claims. Oh, interesting.
Yep. So much for peace and harmony.
Thank you, Arno. Well, he has a right to do what he wants.
Great.
Kofo72 says Mandela connection.
The Mandela effect?
Exactly. I'm not sure what he's exactly meaning. Maybe he'll clear it up. And we've got Seagra, who I haven't seen for a while, says, wow, all these months later, and Mark still thinks Jaren's wife's name is Melissa. I suppose it's just a minor detail.
Wait, I know she goes by Missa. I know that much. But wait, I thought her formal name was Melissa.
So did I.
And Missa was just a short version of that.
So did I.
And the reason I said that is because Jonathan's girlfriend is also named Melissa.
Mm-hmm. I think her name might be Melissa. Somebody clear us up on that.
Yeah, I know
we call her Missa.
Her handle is they're on the same radio network that I am. I see their banner.
Yeah. So Robin Poe has a great point, and she always does. She's one of those people who, when she speaks, it's going to be something profound.
Yeah.
She says there's always some churn in the Flat Earth community, but what are your thoughts on keeping our focus? That is so good. We could do a whole show on trying to keep our focus, and it's really all about respecting others' beliefs, respecting if somebody is Catholic, respecting if somebody's Jewish, respecting if somebody's black, white, gay. Just let's go with Flat Earth. That's our common ground, literally the ground underneath us. Yeah,
for me, the focus has never changed, which is once you get from point A to point B being, that everybody realizes it's flat Earth, then all the rest of the stuff should go away or at least subside a great deal. Because again, your state of mind changes. Because once you realize you're in a structure, you're in a thing where somebody's looking over your shoulder up there.
And, some people don't believe we're in a structure. So I would just add for those, once you realize you're on a flat Earth, regardless if there's a dome or no dome, once you realize we're on a flat Earth and that they've lied to us about everything, why would you then go and fight with other people when the real people that you should be fighting against are the ones that have lied to us?
Yes. Sure. So both bases are covered there. Yeah.
Yes.
Why are you fighting amongst each other when the real enemy's out there?
Right. And the real and the people who believe in a globe aren't our enemy. Even the people that are trying to debunk it and being angry, they're not our enemy. The real enemy are the powers that should not be.
Yeah.
And I'm not suggesting going to the White House or going to Kremlin and ripping the bricks off the wall and hanging people. It goes much higher than that.
Well,
I don't even know what I'm suggesting. I'm just thinking
when in doubt,
news.
when in doubt, utter this sentence, and that is, let's change the world with flat Earth, and then fill in the blank here. So, because the rest of it sounds ridiculous, no matter what you put after it. So, let's change the flat Earth and condemn homosexuals. Let's change the world with flat Earth. Let's hate black people. Go, let's hate Catholics. Hey, it just keeps going. It's like everything you add on after that doesn't make sense, because the first statement is so profound that everything else after that seems just nothing. It seems irrelevant by comparison. So that's how I've always looked at it. It's never going to change.
And I do also have to add, I believe in people's right to be able to speak as they wish. And if somebody doesn't like something, they have the right to say that. But I would just encourage people to look within and look at the larger picture and what we're trying to achieve here, and try their hardest to throw aside that thing that they don't like, whatever it is, because we're all people.
Change the world first. If you still feel like hating whatever group you want to hate after that, there's nothing I can do for you. but do try to change the world first. Just try.
Yeah. We're trying.
Try.
Flat Earth Prospiracy writes, just an observation. With all the recent Flat Earth infighting, I'm getting Flat Earth fatigue. It doesn't mean that my views of FE has changed. I just think the initial wave has crashed on the shore, and now it's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work. Totally fits in with what we're saying.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. And again, the energy that this creates and your stress level goes up. Look, everybody is going to have waxing and waning levels of interest when it comes to this. We've seen people pull out and then come back in. Sometimes it takes a couple days. Sometimes it takes a couple weeks. Don't worry about it. If you get burned out, maybe we should start coming up with a glossary of terms like flat Earth burnout.
Flat Earth fatigue. That was good.
Flat Earth
FEF.
fatigue. Yeah. Once you get FEF, which is not to be confused with post-traumatic stress disorder or something like that.
Kind of like it though.
Yeah, I guess kind of. Once you get that, it's okay. Look, take a break. You don't have to make videos every day or however fast you were making them. Like, get your stuff, get your content out, take a break. Just figure out what you're going to do, and if you want to come back, come back. If you don't, hey, everything that you can do for the movement is appreciated, and so just don't worry, keep on keeping on.
When I talked to you last night, we usually Skype, and I usually Skype right here from this computer. And at the time we Skyped, which was, your time earlier, but my time 11, I never go to bed at 11 p.m. since Flat Earth. I used to go to bed earlier before Flat Earth, but there's too much to do. So I'm up till sometimes 5 a.m, or sometimes I don't even sleep. Yeah. Anyway, I was talking to you at 11 at night, my time approximately, and I was in bed already. So we were Skype chatting, and the reason that I was in bed was because I was suffering from FEF, flat Earth fatigue, with all of the videos and all of the fighting and drama yesterday. I felt, I'm just going to go lay down with my cats in my nice cozy bed. And then, of course, while I'm in bed, I'm talking flat Earth. So
yeah, did you realize that during the day yesterday, you pretty much could have watched a live flat Earth broadcast pretty much from the time you got up to the time you went to bed?
Yeah, it was a big day in flat Earth.
It was a big day. And who would have thought that was even possible? Yeah. Forget about people. It's like, we're not talking about flat Earth. It's like, no, we're not just talking about it. There's broadcasts that are happening. It's like, where is the television people? Why isn't there a flat Earth channel or a flat Earth show yet? It's coming.
There will be, I'm sure.
You better believe it's coming.
And I hope it's not flat Earth painted in a negative light, like some kind of freaks.
No, not freaks. Flat Earth freaks. Yeah, that would be a great name.
Don't even put that out there.
Yeah.
Okay, Kofo72 earlier had said Mandela effect, and I didn't understand why. The reason was, he said it's in relation to flat Earth coming on the scene. Mandela effect led him to flat Earth.
The Mandela effect?
Exactly. What are we calling it today?
Exactly. Yeah, very possible. Who knows what's happening now?
Interesting question now from Lion Dan. By the way, I'm taking these questions in order, and if some are missed at the end, it's not because I'm skipping around. I will only skip around if a known troll comes in. By known troll, I mean it's a person who is a troll by name, or they're using a flat earther's name. Like if it's a Jaronism that comes up, but I know it's not Jaron, asking a really horrendous question, then I'll skip around.
Lion Dan, really?
Lion Dan? Yeah, that's the name of this person.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's a slam on Tiger Dan, but
it could be.
Lion there. We'll move the picture around. I mean, we'll forget the picture and go with the question because it's a good question and it has nothing to do with Tiger Dan. The question is, if you were stuck on a desert island, which fellow flat earther would you choose to be with? Ooh. Maybe that's just a fluffy question. Funny
That's
too.
a fluffy question. But yeah, that's kind of a.
I'd rather have a team, not just one person. And you know what? The people that I would choose to be with are many of the people that I associate with now. But there's brand new people coming in all the time that I find. I'm like, oh, I think you're incredible. And I post it on their thing. So I think I'd choose to be with everybody who's here now in the movement. I couldn't pick one. I'd just pick everybody. Even the people who dislike me. Even the debunkers. All of it. Because we're here anyway.
I'd pick Patricia because I would want to spend my last days with someone who was very positive and shared common interest with me.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you. I feel bad now that I didn't pick you.
No, it's okay. That's all right.
All right. I'll pick you and everybody else.
I'm surprised you didn't say Matt because he looks so good in underwear strapped to a bed.
Oops.
Sorry, did I say that? At least I didn't give out the season and episode number.
Exactly. So. All right. So up next, we've got Greg T. Why has nobody launched a night balloon? It's about time, I reckon.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to do that eventually and see what happens.
People have said they're going to launch balloons, and then they don't happen. And I don't know what's up with that. I don't follow any of those things closely.
Yeah, somebody launch a night balloon. You don't announce it to anybody. Don't tell about it. Don't tell anybody on an email.
That is illegal.
Well, it's not. Supposedly it's illegal, but I think that's kind of a gray area because why? Why would it be illegal?
By the way, David Weiss just asked if you proposed to me right then. He messaged me. Read that on the air.
Proposed to Patricia?
No, you've not.
I have not.
So, Greg T, why has nobody launched a night balloon? I don't know, and I think it should be done. What it will prove, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Lee Belt says there's a movie made in 1983 called The Color of Magic, and the first 32 seconds talks about the disc world, and it totally nails the concept. Very interesting. Do you know that movie? The Color of Magic.
I do not.
83.
But
you know every movie.
Yeah.
This is the only movie that I've ever realized that you didn't know first.
You know, I may actually know it, but I didn't know the title.
All right. Well, anyway, so thankfully.
1983. I was watching a lot of stuff, and unless it may have been a straight to DVD thing or limited release.
I've never heard
Oh,
of
by the way, can I mention real quick the Max Malone, since we're on things. Max Malone released a video this morning, and it kind of touched on flat Earth and the atrocities and stuff like that. But at 9 minutes and 30 seconds, I thought it was very, very interesting. He showed, because he catches things. He's got an eye for catching stuff. Remember, he was the guy I mentioned in my one of my early clues, my intro, as a matter of fact, where he was the one that says, "Look, there's no astronaut that actually does a 180 with the camera running. No, no matter where it is, no single astronaut." And he was showing some Russian footage, because there's quite a bit of Russian footage from their early space programs in the 60s, and he showed a Russian astronaut that was supposedly in a space capsule that was like in 0G above the planet, and he was kind of floating away. And it looked, and when he pointed it out, he goes, "Look, this is stop motion animation," because the helmet, the guy gets out there and then he turns his helmet. Those helmets don't turn like that. And he turned and then he kind of waved and he's going, that is, once you see it for the first time, if you're old enough to remember the stop motion animation that Hollywood used.
Gumby and Pokey, did they use that?
Oh yeah, well, no.
Claymation.
Like the old Sinbad movies. Remember that when you had you were fighting a Hydra or skeletons or stuff like that, where you had to move. It was stop frame animation where you had to move it ever so slightly, and it was stop frame animation. And it was like and it was so obvious to see, and he caught it. So check it out. Max Malone's the channel, and look at the video he just made at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. It's great. It's a great find. I loved it.
I wish Max would join us right now. I know that he listens.
I
like him but I know he's not wanting to do that.
That's all right. We'll get him one day.
Grap All Good just made a little follow-up to The Color of Magic. He says, Terry Pratchett books, Discworld's, worth knowing the stuff. Really, not the movie Discworld. Hello. I'm not sure.
Oh, wait, what was it again?
He says, The Color of Magic, Terry Pratchett books, Discworld. It's worth knowing this stuff. Not the movie Discworld.
Not the movie Discworld.
Right. So he's, I think, making a correction.
All right. Well,
I
we'll
want to
figure
say
it
hi to A.E. Solinas. I may have said that wrong. Who says on a desert island he or she would pick me? That's nice. It's nice to be liked. It's nice not to be the last person picked for the game of kickball.
out. The thing
Remember
is,
kickball when you'd get picked or not
you
picked?
would be picked last for kickball because you
No,
were
I would get picked first or second.
seriously.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Huh.
Okay, I'm 5'7", and at younger ages, I was taller than a lot of girls, and good and relatively strong, thin and strong, and was pretty good at sports, actually.
I didn't know you played sports.
Yeah, well, in school you have to,
A
PE
few.
class in the United States. I'm not
I
sure
gotcha, I
elsewhere.
gotcha. But it's not like you did
Tennis,
track
boxing.
or
I
basketball.
actually did play. I did play. I was in track and field, the 440.
You did the 440?
Yeah, and
I did.
I
I did the
and I was in
440.
Florida too, and it was really hot. And I just didn't pursue track because it was incredibly hot and humid and running, and it just wasn't my thing. And I didn't like aspects of that. I didn't like hurdles at all. I was too scared to jump over them. So I just sort of bailed on that and just wasn't, in high school
I
you
did
play
not
lots
know
of
that.
sports and you may or may not pursue them later on.
We
And I did.
we talk about so many things in the mission briefings, and we never talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
So, well, it's cool.
Um,
We'll have to talk about that more one of these days.
Yeah.
It's just never come up.
And you ran track too, huh?
I didn't like it. I'm not a big. I did basketball. I did baseball. I did a little football.
I don't like running.
I don't like running either. Running is
Mm-mm.
is in fact when that shirt, conspiracy guys know this. It's a sniper shirt, and that is it's a picture of a sniper in the front. It says, "Don't run, you only die tired." I totally get that. I'm not running anyway. It's like I read that
Only
shirt. It's
when
like,
chased.
hey, I hear you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Uh, this is a question that is from Rob Says to Digital Scent, who mentioned something earlier, and says, I have proof on my channel and more. BOB's tweets are getting deleted. He is tweeting, but you won't see unless you turn mobile notifications on.
Really?
Very interesting.
Wow.
Up next from Stephen S. Oops, something's covering my question. Hold on. Flat Earth proof, a star constellation in the sky 365 days a year. Impossible in a heliocentric model. A night sky in January will be a day sky in June on the other side of the sun. For example, the Southern Cross or Crux, visible all year round.
Yeah, nice. Oh, hey, by the way, can I mention real quick?
Mhm.
Because we forgot to mention the Leonardo DiCaprio thing.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah,
people have talked about it on
some
other
people,
channels.
some people talked about it, and there's a few videos, but for anyone that hasn't seen it, look up in the mainstream news Leonardo DiCaprio talking with Pope Francis. It was just on the 28th, I believe. Was on the 28th. Yeah, right. Yeah, 28th.
So much has happened.
Yeah, so he comes, which was the morning after Neil deGrasse Tyson, dropped the mic, that whole thing. But and remember, when you talk to the Pope, you have a very limited window. 15 minutes he had with him, and this is an A-list movie star, and he had like 15 minutes with the Pope.
And he's been working with global warming, and I think that's why he had the audience.
Yeah,
with
he was there for the whole climate change, global warming thing.
So right there, right away.
What?
No, just the fact that he's there for global warming.
Oh yeah, that was ridiculous. But he gives him this book, and he flips through some of the pages, and one of them he picked, and I can't remember the name of the artist off the last name was Bosch, I think, but it was the 3-panel thing called Garden of Earthly Delights. But the 3-panel painting closed, right? It had a cover on it, and the cover was a picture of a flat Earth. An enclosed flat Earth, and he brings it up to him, and the cameras were rolling while they had it, and so that clip's out there. So look up Lena. You can look up simple DiCaprio, Pope Francis, flat Earth, and you'll find it. But it's an intriguing clip. I thought it was short but sweet. I liked it.
Hieronymus Bosch is
there you go.
The name of the artist, and I may have been pronouncing the first part wrong, but it's pretty much close to that.
Yeah. So yeah, again, what coincidence? Yeah, maybe. But the fact that that you had those instances, the rapper and the Neil deGrasse and then Leo DiCaprio in the same week, how does that happen?
Teresa Gordon says that she's got all of BOB's censored tweets on her Facebook page.
Cool. So, are they any good? Somebody send them to Patricia or me or both. Email me.
Sargent. Because we're friends.
Oh, fine. You have friends. What is that? Why do you hurt me like that?
Well, I'm your friend. It's nice to have one, right?
Oh, that is so cold. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, we'll
Kofo
see.
said,
That proposal. Good luck. It's not coming.
Kofo 72 says, but it's the words that Leonardo chose to say to the Pope as he presented it and spoke of the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, how it was, and I'm not gonna, because even though I did a video on it, it was represented the future and enlightenment.
Yeah, something else
Yeah,
too. It
yeah,
all rang wrong. What's he doing there? Global warming, it's fake. Then he's there with this book, and the book shows a picture that looks like an enclosed world.
yeah. And this was hung above his crib as a child. What parent does a Hieronymus Bosch painting?
I mean, maybe he had these really interesting artistic parents who happen to have like dome.
And again, yeah, you're talking to the Pope about climate change. You got 15 minutes, and actually, after the photo op and the exchanging of gifts, you got about 5 minutes. And you're going to spend 30 seconds of that talking about mention the flat Earth thing, and plus you could see the Pope. He was he knew full well what that painting was. He had seen it.
He took the book afterwards and just handed it to an underling and said, "Burn it."
Well, maybe. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, you wait. You're going to see more stuff like that.
Yeah. Teresa Gordon says that she loves you as well. So you've got two friends.
That's wonderful. That's great.
Bill March writes, I was in a pub in England and some blonde crumpet came in and started. Okay, wait a minute. This might be a bad question, but I'm going to continue reading.
Yeah, that's good because, why not?
Okay. A blonde crumpet. That's not so good. Came in and started talking about the flat Earth, and she got out her phone and started showing videos. Half the pub came over and started watching. What is going on? No, it wasn't a bad comment.
No.
I'll tell you, Bill, what's going on. Flat Earth. It's going on.
And he could have, and again, I don't know the British terms. I think there's a difference between crumpet and strumpet. I think strumpet is worse.
Yeah, strumpet is like a lady of the night, and a crumpet might be like saying a cupcake, but then referring to a woman as pastry, not so good.
Like a bird? Like we call them chicks, and they call them birds.
Right, but a chick is a baby bird, so maybe.
Yeah, I know. They're related, I'm sure.
Let's see. We've got been lied to, who's making a trollish comment. Maybe he will think it's not a trollish comment, but the question is, so do you always favor the same 4 people the whole time?
Same 4 people? What, in
Take
flat
a
Earth?
Look at my shows. I've had 57 of them, and I do one with Mark every Monday, but there are many other people that I talk to and many new people that are in flat Earth that I talk to all the time. So the answer to that question is no. Next, Aaron.
We haven't brought up. We only brought up David Weiss like once so far.
Yeah, because he messaged me while we're talking.
Exactly.
Oh no, maybe twice. I mentioned the video that he had done with Phuket Word.
Pressuring me to marry Patricia. That's awesome, David. Thank you.
He just messaged you too.
No.
Is David playing matchmaker? Aaron Eddie H Yo. Oh wait, this just went away. Anyone. Ben lied to says, I'm not a troll, just want my question answered. I answered your question, and the answer is no, I don't favor the same 4 people. A.E. Soljanas says his Bosch's real name is Jerwin Anthohusian van Aken, which is pretty cool, and I didn't know that. Lion Dan says, I love David Weiss. So we've just mentioned David Weiss again.
Hey, let's throw David Weiss in the conversation.
Wait, I've got a cat who's crawling on the DVDs. Anybody see right there? And now going to jump on the jukebox. Did anyone catch that? That is Flynn.
It took 2 weeks to write the software routine to generate that cat.
For my fake studio apartment.
Exactly.
Bill March says half the pub thinks the earth is flat and Crumpin is Cockney.
Oh God, not London, Cockney.
And they are chicks. Ooh. Cockney rhyming slang. Somebody gave me a book on it once, and it was really interesting.
Crumpet is actually a Cockney term?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And on we go with a little bit more of a fill-in on our earlier from Brup All Good. He says Terry Pratchett wrote books featuring a world apparently based on the Vedic model. The color of magic is one only. There are tons of them, but then he died. The movie is not a good way to get across the idea of Discworld, like The Hitchhiker's Guide. So he says, read the book. The book is better than the movie, which is, Teresa Gordon says Kylie Jenner is discussing 9/11. I wonder if she will touch flat Earth. Interesting.
Yeah, somebody tweet her because this was something you and I talked about months ago, and that's who I thought the first person was going to jump in on this
Because
one.
she does touch on conspiracy
Yeah,
issues.
she did a thing on chemtrails, and is she the most articulate person in the world? No, but she had like 2 million followers, and it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, somebody tweet her and say, look, get on the BOB wagon, defend BOB, and why not? Why, if you're a conspiracy person, and you're sort of a pseudo celebrity, why aren't you defending BOB? Get on that media. That's a free media gravy
I'm
train.
hoping that the third person out's not Kylie Jenner, because then we're going to have to hear about lip implants and Botox and
Yeah, but who's it going to be?
guy
That
she's dating or something.
that should
Anyway,
be that people should like be hitting you with chat right now. Who's the third person going to be? Take a guess, because I don't think
take a guess. That's a good question.
I don't think it's going to be an A-lister. I think it's going to be someone who's B or B sliding into C type territory.
Next up from Dean O, if he called that crumpet a dry tart, that would have been bad. We're probably saying all sorts of nasty words here.
Probably,
sorry, please.
yeah. The English audience is probably going, I'll never listen to this show again.
Jason Campbell says, did you hear that they announced they are going to break the 12-kilometer barrier into our mantle recently? Another thing comes out. I have a little bit of info on that I printed out a moment ago. Let me grab it. It's the expedition to drill to the Earth's mantle and ended on January 30th. Oh, cat just dove off the jukebox. They attempted to go into the Earth's mantle. They were unable to be successful any farther than they ever were before. So they were planning on drilling 1,500 meters into the Atlantis Bank, where they believe the mantle rises above the Moho border. It's where the crust and the mantle meet. And they've been trying since the 60s to do this sort of thing.
Yeah,
and they failed again. I mean, we as flat earthers understand kind of why they can't.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. Look, the Russians tried. They got down to 12 kilometers and they stayed at 12. It's not like they stayed at 12 kilometers for years. They could not push past it, and finally, what was that one line? The Russians said that the Earth is not willing to give up its secrets. I thought that was very telling.
Mm. Yeah. Well, the fact that what Jason says is that just these kind of stories like this, it just makes people believe we live on a ball, and also shows that they can't.
Why? Because it's lava.
Well, I mean, it's just perpetuating the whole way that science explains the way that the Earth is cross-sectioned, which we don't believe is indeed true. Yeah. So Bill March, on with the crumpet thing. Crumpet is a rhyme for strumpet, but he didn't want to be rude. He's going to pop open a sherbet and do some research on the web. Me mate says the ship goes over horizon with his mince pies.
Here we go.
Lion Dan says,
I love UK as much as the next person, but come on.
I love it. I've been to London and been all over Scotland. So, but that's it. I have not yet been to Ireland, which I would love to go.
Oh, I should probably throw out that joke, and we get people mad. It's like Scotland, Ireland. What's the difference, right?
Oh.
And no. And then they say, here's Scotland, here's Ireland, there's the bloody sea. Now get the hell out of here. One of those things.
Anyway. Lion Dan says, the Flat Earth Convention would go down well in the UK. If you came to the UK for a convention, you can have fish and chips and crumpets and enjoy various pubs. And people say, you guys never talk about Flat Earth. Like, I'm reading the questions as they come in. Brap Allgood says, The Color of Magic, Terry Pratchett books, Discworld. I think we already read that. Lee Belt says, in the movie, it describes a giant turtle with 4 elephants standing on the back, and the turtle on top is what they call Discworld. And we already had mentioned what Brap Allgood said about Jaron having a power outage. And up next from Steve C. How is it that the SR-71 Blackbird went 3,000 miles per hour and had to be made of titanium and had no way to seal the fuel tanks due to all the heat from friction, but rockets go much faster and they're made out of aluminum? Thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a question. That's a good point.
No, it's a good point.
Thanks, Steve C.
Good point.
Somebody whose YouTube channel name I don't quite get, but I like it. It's This Lana, this, and then L.A.N.A says, Lana chooses to ask this Patricia Steere and Mark Sargent about the heat shields on spacecrafts. They may be truly needed because they may fly very close to the sun and not used for re-entry. Do heat shields prove to us that the sun is in the firmaments?
No one's ever asked me that question. That's a really
Interesting.
interesting observation.
Well, many believe the sun is within the firmament.
Yeah, and if it is, and it is, then the space agencies know full well what sort of heat issues you get when you get close to it. So
But when
yeah,
you go up in a plane at 35,000, 40,000 feet, that's as far up as I've been, and I've flown a lot. When you touch the windows, oftentimes they're cold, and you would think that they would be hot. They're not.
you know. By the way, she just made me think of something. That was a woman,
But
right?
then when
I'm
you're on
sorry.
Earth, you go outside like I did today in Houston, and you're sweating in 3 minutes.
You know what this story? You know, she just again inspiration off inspiration. You know, the story that she kind of made me think of, which changes the whole outlook of that story, and that is the is it the Icarus story? The guy that flew too close to the sun and the
Yes,
wings,
that is.
the wax
The wax
melted.
wings melted.
When that, yeah, yeah. Somebody should drop a meme for that. Get an image of the Icarus thing flying too close to the sun, because yeah, because it doesn't make sense. You know, if you're in a if your sun's 93 million miles away, but if it's right up there, then yeah, you actually would be flying too close to the sun. Ah,
Oh.
interesting.
Teresa Gordon says Flat Earth will probably air on PBS first. And if those of you who are proposing Q&A questions are wondering why I'm mentioning certain people I've been accused of only picking favorites, I'm reading them in order at which they come.
Oh, is that what they were saying? That we're only picking 4 people out of the
I don't know.
chat
I'm
list?
not. I'm just picking them as they come.
Oh.
And then this is by Lee Belt. He talks about Flat Earth briefly, which makes your predictions of a famous person actor talking about it. Globe Skeptic says, special request. Can you pass the message about helping the comment section of the new Flat Earth videos? There seems to be an organized tactic to push counter arguments up with thumbs up with sock puppet accounts. We need to stand together. So how should we solve this? Organize attack to push counter. You know that because I can't make comments I can only thumb up a comment one time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't moderate my comments because I don't.
I've been attempting to stay away from them and just trying to enable all, unless there's really horrible vulgarity in there. And
it's hard to say. I mean, I don't necessarily encourage people to go through all the comments and try to rebuttal all. You know, because it's a street fight.
I've done it. I've tried it, not rebut, but I've tried to say thank you and wonderful and good and I like it or I'll look into it. But then after a while, I mean, I've got 57 videos and then I've got other videos too.
Yeah, there's too many. There's no real answer for that.
So
Sorry.
Pass the message about helping the comment section of the new Flat Earth videos. I guess that would mean if you see a new Flat Earth video, thumbs up a good comment that's in there. And that might rise to the top if more people do so. And that is really good. Support each other.
Yeah. I will read some comments on other people's videos. I'm almost never doing it on mine.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Up next is Flat Earth Prosperacy, who writes, Finger Lakes are in my immediate area. Have you seen the sun over 5 Finger Lakes pic? It supports Flat Earth. And then he provides a link that only those who are in Q&A can see, and I can't read it out, but it's media.syracuse.com. But Finger Lakes, the sun over Finger Lakes. So anybody could probably look that up and see what he is talking about. Stephen S. says someone needs to ask Neil deGrasse Tyson why the Northern Hemisphere's average temperatures drops in winter by half when the sun's supposed to be 3 million miles closer. So
he probably won't answer that because
no, he's too busy dropping the mic and
well, no, he's not a meteorologist.
A sandwich and
so he would that's what he would use as an excuse is he's not a weather expert.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right, I have let's see, Lee Belt talks about Leonardo DiCaprio. I said that word weirdly. Leonardo DiCaprio talking to the Pope. We already discussed it. Dennis McLean says, hi, Flat Earth community. Paul Megan says, remember Patricia and Mark? A few years ago, a huge expedition was planned to one of the poles with National Geographic and lots of scientists and even paying customers. It was postponed for a year, and then I never heard of it again. Now, I don't know about that specific thing. I don't remember it, but that happens all of the time. Didn't they just recently sell passage to Mars? People bought tickets to Mars.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't that just happen? What are those people? I got defriended on Facebook for telling kindly a Facebook friend of mine that you just wasted your money. And he defriended me for that. And he's
He
now,
did waste his
yeah,
money.
now,
You look, the Orion program, otherwise known as, we'll just call it the Mars program.
Mhm.
The Mars program was postponed indefinitely, and people say, "Oh no, it was just pushed out to 2018." I was going, really? Find me a launch date on 2018.
Right.
That no,
Yeah,
all they're
these things
doing is
happen. There's all of these things that happen. Like it's a carrot dangling, and oh, I just made an okay sign. Sorry,
yeah.
a carrot dangling. It wasn't an okay sign. And we know what that sign is. Gosh, I should just have to sit on my hands.
My hands are locked to my legs right now.
Just a person, okay.
I used glue.
Good. Crazy glue. When I was a kid, when Crazy Glue first came out, I didn't open it right, and it got all over my hands, and my hands were literally glued together like this, webs. And my stepmother at the time took me to the doctor to try to see if there was something and we just had to peel it off, and it was really painful and took off skin.
Do you know why? You probably know this. Do you know why super glue sticks best to skin more than anything?
It was probably used as a medical thing.
Bingo. Yeah, it was military technology developed for battlefield surgery to help aid in stitches. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
And then they
I
said,
lost my total track while talking about Crazy Glue in my hands and being a kid and things that were told that that never come true. And then I take that back to the Mars thing. And anyway, there's always things we're told. It's like a carrot, and I made that sign, dangling in front of us, pushing it out of our reach.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
this is going to happen in the future, and that's going to happen in the future. It looks like flying cars.
Yeah.
And it never happens. And then we forget after we're programmed to believe we're going to Mars.
Absolutely. You want to know the perfect analogy to that, and I learned this through the documentary Who Killed the Electric Car, which was hydrogen fuel technology cars. And people completely forgotten about that. And that is back some years ago, they were pushing hydrogen fuel cell cars. Remember that? But that was during the George Bush era. But it never went anywhere. They kept saying, well, it's 15 years away. It's 15 years away. And they just kept pushing it 15 years down the road. The problem was, and the reason why they were pushing hydrogen fuel cells is that the petroleum companies didn't have the market on electricity. So it was the only thing they could do. They said, okay, we can make hydrogen. But hydrogen fuel cell cars do not do well. They just absolutely are almost non-functional in cold weather. Well, what good is a car if you can't drive it in cold weather? And so the point is, after several years, and after went to the Obama administration, do you see any hydrogen fuel cell cars now?
I have the same DVD. I'm holding it up right now. Who Killed the Electric Car?
Who Killed the Electric Car? Brilliant documentary about how a particular industry can, if they're strong enough, can wipe out another industry, even though the other industry looks promising. And that was, even though we have hybrid cars now and electric cars now, they didn't want to take the chance. They didn't want to really gain some traction. So they wiped it out. They made sure the electric cars would not happen, at that time. And it was amazing.
Bill March says his mate says Thora heard, but he's going to look at this. People don't often talk Brad Pitt on the Truth Channel. Kind of don't understand that. But
I have no idea what he's talking about. But Brad Pitt would be a great somebody. Somebody tweet Brad Pitt about Flat Earth.
Yes. Anybody really. I mean, and the reason it's not because I worship celebrities. I could care less, and you don't care about them either. But they're the people that have that pull with all those followers. So if a celebrity starts talking about it, it gets stirred up.
Exactly.
Colm Rooney, that's a neat name, Colm Rooney, says, why don't some flat earthers just fly around to the edge of Antarctica with a camera? Well, there's many ways to look at that.
Yeah, we fly around a camera in what, first of all, and what we just talking about flying on the coastline, you can pay $10,000, $15,000 right now and take a trip down to the edge of Antarctica with penguins, have your picture taken, go on a raft next to some icebergs, and that's about it. Now, if you think you're going to take a plane and make a hard left or a hard right, depending on which way you're going, into Antarctica, a couple of problems there. One is you're still relying on the GPS system, which is run by the system itself. It's a military system, so you can't even trust those readings. And once you get out far enough, what do you think you're going to do then? Exactly. Take pictures of what, and then think you're going to get back? No.
Paul Megan says that he found it. It was the quote North Pole Inner Earth Expedition unquote 2012.
Oh,
that's
yeah, I
the
remember
one that never
one.
happened.
I almost paid money for that one. The guy died. The guy that was heading up died. I remember that one.
We've got the Flat Earth Reality says Been waiting for an hour for the show to start. Google Plus flaw. Ooh, are we on?
What?
I'm going to check. I'm going to ask a question.
What are you talking? We're getting comments.
Oh, yeah, we are on. How crazy am I?
We're on.
Yes, we're on. I'm always worried about that. Are we on? Are we just talking to ourselves?
Is that guy in another country?
This is a secret show, and it's so secret that nobody can watch it. The only people that can are you and I. It's just like us talking on Skype.
Broadcasting straight to you from a DoD bunker in Southern Virginia.
Oh, gosh. So Flat Earth Reality says we're on. And Bill March says that he needs a Cockney translator. Brian Clark says, has anyone seen the 1920 Library of Congress stationary flat Earth map by Professor John George Abiziad? Someone on his channel said that I put the link on her Facebook wall, and I did, but I don't have it right now that I could bring it up. So,
got it.
Yeah,
got it.
But anybody who's on my Facebook can go check that out. We've got Stephen S. says, yes, listening from Australia, and we are broadcasting. We've got Bruce Agnew is the name according to A.E. Solonius. And that is somebody we were just talking about. Maybe Bruce is the person that died. I don't know what that refers to. Lion Dan says, if you get sun blindness when you go to the top of Mount Everest, why are the windows in the ISS just clear glass? Ooh.
That's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Not that it matters, because again, look up the stories. The ISS, they're already talking about closing it down and moving their work to the moon. That'll be the day. Oh yeah, by the way, the Chinese probe, that was remember they released that story. That was great. Yeah, we took like 7 shots of the the moon's surface, and one of them was like of the Earth. It was the worst Earth shot I've ever seen, ever. It was like a tiny crescent of the Earth. It was blurry. You couldn't see anything. Oh yeah, that's the Earth. My ass, it's the Earth. Sorry.
We've got this from Fed UNARCE. Have you guys seen Cowspiracy? It pushed me to make changes to a plant-based diet. Animal agriculture is higher in emissions than fossil fuels. You guys rock. And Patricia, you're hot. Oh, thanks.
You had to read that, didn't you?
No, I didn't on purpose. Usually I skip, but that stuff like that. Which then I'm saying that people say that all the time. I'm not saying that, but thank you for saying that. And yes, Cowspiracy is a really great documentary, and you can find it on YouTube. I also recommend anything by Gary Yourofsky. That's Yourofsky. And also there is the movie that is called Earthlings, but that's got a lot of bloody gore in it, but it is the reality of animal agriculture. So if you are interested in adopting a plant-based diet, a vegan diet, those are things that you might want to look at. And I encourage you to do so. And if you don't, that's up to you. I am not here to judge. Dino says, my second question was answered first. I'll try my first question again in regards to Flat Earth television show. Oh, and that's because I don't get them from the bottom up. I get them from the top down. It's just the way it runs here on this thing. I'll try my first question in regards to a Flat Earth television show. Wasn't there a television show that depicted a small city where the population was all of a sudden trapped inside a glass dome?
Oh, was there?
Show. Don't know about that.
Maybe like a biodome type of thing.
Oh, interesting.
Biodome wouldn't have been necessarily the same thing. I mean, yeah, being in a dome is one thing, but they wouldn't have said, well, and you're on a flat Earth.
John Doe with no picture says, is the best way to protect your flat Earth delusion to ignore those questions which destroy it? This is obviously a person who's not a flat earther, who's, asking us again whether or not we. I'm open to it all. I've lived as a ball earther 52 years of my life, never questioning it and believing all the things were true. And then I questioned it, and then I found other things.
Patricia's birthday's on the 5th, so send her emails wishing her a happy birthday.
53, yay.
53. Going on 29.
I don't try to protect my flat Earth delusion.
Oh, no, well, no. The flat Earth thing. Look,
not a delusion.
Anyone who's against flat Earth, you got to remember
bring me
something.
The information to debunk it, real information.
And that is almost everybody that's in flat Earth now started out as a flat Earth debunker. It's not like, we recruited and people said, oh yeah, flat earth, I'm totally in, and then they just join the ranks. People always start out suspicious and they all say the same thing. This is a bunch of crap. I'm going to look into it and disprove it. And invariably they come around the other side. So if he's saying it's delusional, fine, it means you haven't looked into it that much, or you're really stuck on one scientific principle that you think breaks down everything else, and that's impossible because we're still talking about it. This episode,
we'd be done. It would be over if so.
Yeah, this thing would have been shot down immediately. In fact, I was thinking that's exactly what would have happened last year, and it's not. It just keeps growing and growing to the point where Neil deGrasse Tyson has to respond on national television. If you don't think it's growing, you're not paying attention to the major media.
Yeah, a person like Neil deGrasse Tyson would not be going and involving himself with rap songs, and he would just be ignoring it like, silly, I'm not even answering that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. It's beneath him to talk about it.
He might make a joke about it and then move on.
Yeah.
Jason Campbell says what we were talking about is Stephen King's Under the Dome that somebody had mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that
says the same thing.
Yeah, Stephen King's Under the Dome. Sorry, I thought they were talking about a reality series.
Bill March says what he's seen so far he cannot debunk. Bill March adds, on a trip to Spain, I did not see a curve out the window, and I never have. UABRN.
Go ahead.
No, he's not seen a curve. UABRN says, are flat earthers attacking the movie The Principle? And why don't flat earthers focus on geocentrism to lead within their arguments? Well, the Principle movie talks about the earth being a ball.
Yeah. There's two things wrong with that. Geocentrism and flat earthers, while they are cousins in a way, they're quite different. And that is, geocentrism says that the earth is a ball and everything spins around the earth, but the earth is still a ball and the solar system still exists and the universe still exists outside of that. True flat earthers go a completely different way. And really, we don't want to get into the models too much, but that is that the earth is not a ball, that it's actually literally flat, and that the solar system isn't really the solar system that we know about. It's just, they're just lights in the sky.
All right. So there's that, the movie The
Principle. Wait, I'm sorry. We're not attacking the movie The Principle.
No. Well, he asked if we are attacking the movie The Principle. I'm not attacking anybody.
No, we're not attacking the movie
There's
The Principle.
aspects to that are quality, and Jaron even interviewed the main guy in The Principle. It's on his channel. So
yeah, the fact that they're even talking about an alternate model of the world. Great, wonderful. I'm not attacking that.
No, but there's flat. It's not a ball. Colm Rooney says, the other day I asked about whether Plato believed in flat earth. Santos Bonacci suggested that he and Pythagoras did, and also watched a video of ancient flat earth beliefs, and Atlantis was built in the image of flat earth. And gives a link, and those of you in Q&A can see the link. Otherwise, I can't read it.
I like the second part. The first part, and I'll go off this shirt here, which is because lots of people say, well, they proved it with math. They proved that the world was a ball with math back in whatever culture you want to pick, the Greeks, the Babylonians, or whoever it is. It doesn't really make any difference, because when you open your argument with they proved it with math, whatever group it is, then you've already lost most of your argument, because it didn't make any difference until you could fine. So with the math, you were 99% sure, but until you got high enough to take the picture, what did you really know? You don't know anything. So everything that they said about that, so whatever culture believed in round earth or flat earth, specifically round earth, it doesn't make any difference until you have the tools. Unless you have the technology to prove it out, it's just math. That's all it is. Which is why Tesla said what he said.
Exactly. I like that shirt. Mark Dodd says, can you guys do a show with John LeBon? And I've been on John LeBon's show one time on a round table with David Weiss and others.
I've been on several John LeBon shows.
And
you can
I
look
would
them
love
up.
to do a show with John LeBon. I have not yet done one, and I don't know if he'd want to come on or not, and I should probably shoot him an email.
I don't know if he's going to do another series. I
don't think he's going to do. I actually read that he said he's not doing another. What is it? Baller Skeptic Roundtable show? That's what it was called.
Fine.
Yeah. Isn't that what it was called? The one you were on?
Baller Skeptic or Baller Skeptic. David Weiss could tell you. But no, for me, look, he's still on the fence for whatever reason. He seems to be playing both sides, and I don't know how he could do that after hosting a show for as long as he did and getting so many guests. And the finale was excellent, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought the show was good. And, John is just critically looking at everything. I assume that's what his plans are. And hey, more power to you. And this isn't a cult. People don't have to believe one way or the other. So anybody who wants to challenge things is fine by me. Rudeness, finger pointing, name calling, calling people shills, that sort of thing. No, I'm not having any part of that. And I'll never be doing any sort of hater videos on anybody else. And I don't find them good. Laura R says, if the sun and moon are under the dome, what do you think is holding them up in the sky and preventing them from falling down? Magnetism would be my answer, although, I'm just guessing, just a theory.
Take your pick. Unified field technology. It could be physical for all we know.
Magic.
Yeah, magic. Yeah,
it is.
Huh?
It is something like magic. I mean, all of the way things work they're science, but yet there's something else. There's like something else going on.
What I used to say was science is just magic without the mystery. Mm-hmm. Meaning we used to think it was magic, and then once we repeated it enough times, we called it science. Which is good for some things, but for other things, I don't want to get into it right now. But yeah, who knows what's holding it up there? It's a technology that's beyond ours. I know that much because we can't build something that big or that complex right now.
Lee Belt says, I watch the Globebusters channel when they're watching the live ISS channel, and you never see any of the 17,000 satellites. And I've heard various numbers, 20,000, 17,000, 3,000. Doesn't matter. You never see any of them, ever.
Yeah, it should be, and people should compare it not as bad, but remember the movie WALL-E, the animated movie, where when he left the Earth and he had to bust through because the Earth had so many satellites, it was literally like a second skin of like the atmosphere was made out of satellites. Now, what we have supposedly up there is not as bad, but if you have 10,000 satellites, we'll just pick a round number, 10,000.
Plus some space debris, they say, is up there too.
That place should be, the Earth should be bristling with that. So when the sun, when the Earth goes in sunlight, you should see little specks and flicks of light from these objects all over the place. And you don't see any of them.
Gregory May says, I think the fact that we are in an enclosed environment is the reason they can't control the weather via chemtrails.
Maybe.
Chemtrails in general puzzle me. Sometimes I just think that they're there for fear, to make us scared. Sometimes I think that they're running planes off water, but aren't ready to tell us that.
That's a good one.
Then you see them doing that cross-hatching tic-tac-toe pattern, and that wouldn't be the way planes would normally fly. And so then I think it's geoengineering. I don't think they're spraying poisons on us, but I do think the fallout from whatever they're spraying could be poisonous as well. Then again, I don't know. All theories, just things I'm thinking. Jimmy Denton writes, opinion of Google Sky and similar apps that show celestial objects below the horizon. Love the show.
Cool.
Celestial objects below the horizon. I haven't seen this. Maybe we're not understanding the question.
Don't know the question. You got a link to, is there a video on this?
No video link provided. But there
celestial
may be many videos.
Wait a minute. Celestial objects below the horizon?
Right. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand the question.
I mean that they're, well, anyway. Please rephrase. Hopefully we'll have time to get to it. This one is, the sun and moon are set on a circuit by God. This is a great question for Rob Skiba. Please have him on the next live program. We've had him on a couple of times. This open forum live program has been great. Thank you, too, for doing the show. We've got John Doe saying, why isn't Polaris visible in the southern hemisphere?
Oh, because
it's one of those questions.
It is one of those questions. Look, I'm going to give you the easy one, and that is, well, because I'm going to choose my model, and it's not my model, it's just the model I follow, which is, look, if you're in a giant planetarium, if you're on the outer rim, then you just change what the stars are on the outer rim. You basically change what you see in the sky based on region. We do it in software now. We've been doing it in simulations for the last 12, 13 years.
What are other explanations that other people who have other models say about that? Well, there's many explanations.
There's a bunch of explanations. Just look it up. There's a bunch of videos.
We don't know yet. So
no, we don't know.
This is your theory.
That's my theory. But mine is based on a structure. So if you're not in a structure, you got to give me something else.
The Flat Earth Reality says, perspective, in all caps. Bill March says, oh my goodness, the pictures on Google Images of Earth all look fake. Hey, welcome to our world. We've got Flat Earth Prospiracy with just watch the Max Malone video. LOL. It's definitely stop action. Wow. The helmet turn is closer to the 10-minute mark. So if anybody wants to look at that, we were speaking of earlier.
Yeah.
Chris in Love says, oh, I love Chris in Love. And even the channel name is so nice and positive. Once I was under a chemtrail plane and the air around me began to shimmer a few moments later. It looked like glitter or small bits of light falling to the ground like snow. Wow. That makes me think of Morgellons, the disease people say they have, where bits of plastic grow out of their skin.
Yeah.
So what a scary world we live in. The fact that we're even talking about any of this, that we're talking about a hidden world, our world, and all of this insane things like chemtrails and GMOs and killing animals. People, let's get together. We are not the enemy, fellow flat earthers. We are on the same plane. And we got to fight them, not each other. I shake my head every day, every single day. Laura R. says, oh, we already read hers. Oh, no, this is a different one. Laura R. says, I believe the main reason for chemtrails is blocking natural sunlight because we need it to be healthy. That's why mainstream media wants us to avoid it by believing that the sun gives us skin cancer. Quite interesting. We're also told to never look at the sun. And then there are people who believe by gazing at the sun that it will charge you like a battery. Today I went outside and stared at the sun for a few seconds. It was really hard, but supposedly you're supposed to do it just for a few seconds in the early morning, or some other people say right when you get up, depending upon when that is. It's up to you. Could be you wake up at 4 p.m, then you do it. 2 different schools of thought. And then you try a little bit of sun gazing and then do it again the next day, a little bit longer. So I tried it for once, and I'll try to continue doing it. It's hard to remember to do these things. Flat Earth Prospiracy's questions already been answered. We only have a few more moments till we close. And there's many, 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 many more questions. I can't get to them. Sorry. That's I tried.
Right. Real quick, before we go, there's going to be a debate coming up that David Weiss and I just got invited to, believe it or not.
I never knew.
We just found out. David will let you know, but I can't remember the name of the channel. We'll get more details, but it's going to be a 2-on-2 type thing. So David and I versus was his name Jim Fetzer? Was that his name?
Oh, Jim Fetzer, who David already spoke of before.
Yep, and another guy. So it's going to be a little bit familiar and a little bit different. So, but yeah, David and I are going to be going up against Jim and another guy.
I wonder who the other guy is.
I don't think he even knows yet. This one station is just trying to put it together, so that ought to be fun. And that's going to be, I think, on the 17th of February, but we have plenty of time to.
I want to read 2 quick emails. Matt and Andrea write, "Hi Patricia, myself and my girlfriend are big fans of your channel, never missing a video. We just wanted to message you and Mark, thanking you for the great work in exposing truth. We are sure you have many emails to deal with, so thank you for taking time to read this. Keep up the good work." And a guy named Kurt Dzinski, I'm sure I butchered that last name, writes, "It is true that I feel a different vibe in myself upon discovering Flat Earth. It's hard to explain. I quit smoking. I'm eating better. I'm treating people better. It's weird in a good way. You'd think a person would just give up, but instead, he's actually changed himself for the better." And that's a great way to end our show. Flat Earth can bring people together, but you know why? The thing is that it can only bring people together if you allow it. So. Well, thanks, Mark, for being on the show. We've got about 400 or so viewers that have been viewing live. I haven't been keeping track, and that's a really good number. Cool. It's been fun. Any famous last word before we shut it down and then regroup again next Monday for the secret show on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes?
No. Just stay in it. Keep watching the news. Keep looking for new videos that are out there, and stay positive.
Yeah, and give each other some slack.
Yeah.
And, as I always say, keep it flat.